Buenos dias. Hello, everyone. Bonjour. I want to greet everyone. I am Alejandro Estivil, the Consul General of Mexico in Montreal. I am very glad to be with all of you and to welcome to this webinar dedicated to the Artificial Intelligence Mexico, Quebec. For the Consulate of Mexico in Montreal, is truly a proud to be the co-organizer and really want to thank very much all the people involved here for this possibility. Of course, the government of Quebec and its always harmonious, marvelous delegation of Quebec in Mexico, the state of Jalisco and its Secretary of Innovation, Science and Technology, to MILA, to Laval University, to the CAMCHAM in Mexico, to ProMX, to AMITI, to Peak Policy Lab, and to many others. But most of all, to all the panelists and entrepreneurs who have aimed their efforts at being with us in this great discussion. For years, this topic has been positioned as a channel of great interest in the relations of Mexico and Quebec, and of course, Mexico and Canada. Ambassador Juan José Gómez Camacho, who is with us, our ambassador in Ottawa, has carried out activities in this regard, and for many years and in various positions, he has been one of the personalities of Mexican diplomacy who have been most interested in these topics. For this consulate, monitoring and fostering useful connections with the artificial intelligence development ecosystems promoted by Quebec and, of course, the city of Montreal has been an indisputable priority, an incontournable, nous disons. We always acknowledge that Mexico soon became part of the Global Alliance of Artificial Intelligence and that this alliance has two base technical advisory bodies. One is in Paris and the other in Montreal, with the ever-present figure of Joshua Bengio and what he has built. It's hard for me to remember everything done or everything that has happened, from personal visits to labs, reviewing the impacts of artificial intelligence on creative industries, on healthcare, robotics, and finance, to the visit made by the state of Jalisco a couple of years ago, which detonated much of what we are going to see now. I very much congratulate the Secretary of Innovation of Jalisco, Ingeniero Pompa Padilla. And I must mention some lessons that I have learned individually. I spent a morning talking with a specialist from the famous CRIM here in Montreal about how artificial intelligence could try to diagnose which democratic system offers the best satisfaction to voters. And I shared time with a group of McGill students, Mexicans and Quebecers, analyzing the topic of artificial intelligence in the development of a more efficient, more environmentally friendly urban traffic management. All this is to say that the topic is close to our hearts and that the possibilities are endless. So I know that this event is at the beginning of a large wave of similar events that are yet to come. Just as an example, very soon, May the 21st, a new event with the University of Alberta and the state of Jalisco will take up this theme. And of course, I do the commercial here. Our next event is the webinar dedicated to the business possibilities we will have in May the 26th and the networking of business on the 27th of May. Let's say that it's not only the exponential growth of technology, it is the exponential growth of interest as well. I focus on two final messages from my part, foresight. First, the prevention, the possibility of foreseeing things on the future. And second, the collaboration without borders. What do I mean? We feel that we are almost at the other side of the crisis of the COVID-19 pandemic, one of the largest impacts recorded in our recent history. And in the relations between Mexico and Quebec, we have made every effort so that the aftermath is not a simple return to where we were before, but rather to move towards the future. Artificial intelligence teaches us something basic. Prediction capabilities are increasing. And here I refer to a book, Prediction Machines, written by Ahaki Agrawal, a book that Sergio Rivadeneira made me read in these days, in the last week. Sergio is the Consul for Economic Affairs here in the consulate and the architect of this event taking place. I really want to congratulate him very much for organizing all this today. Today, neuronal networks rely on the revolutionary capacity of high-speed processing of enormous amount of data towards one result, which is anticipating, foreseeing, knowing what is going to happen. There lies the main creation of added value, and which artificial intelligence strength can give to us, and of course, an exponentially attractive thing. We can foresee the phenomena of the future more than ever, and our current situation, crisis, pandemic, world instability, forces us to do so more frequently and scientifically. Simple cases like the cell phone users in traffic allow us to anticipate the behavior and organize better the traffic lights and the street directions, but also the rhythms of banking transactions, analyze it and process it, including the behaviors to withdraw money from an ATM, allow us to anticipate fraud and anticipate opportunities and products to offer. I know that the fintech area will be one of the most important in the future of this relationship of an artificial intelligence between Mexico and Quebec, together with the health prediction, logistic prediction, and that is what my country can offer a lot as a market, but also as a developer. On the other hand, the entire technological framework of these networks require the increasing contribution of many stakeholders and increasingly varied specialities. It is not a field of only computer science specialists or mathematicians. More and more linguistics, psychologists, material engineers, physicians, etc., and many humanists and artists are more and more involved. It necessarily invokes consultation, dialogue, co-working without borders. What else can diplomacy and a consulate like us could ask for? That we put energy and investment in a source of initiatives and progress that implies thinking and foreseeing the future with a high ethical standards, as Montreal and its declaration has fostered, while involving more and more actors from both sides of the relationship. That is totally harmonious with diplomacy, and in the case of Mexico and Quebec, it seems to me it marks a very clear route for us, where we will surely be leaders and promote more and more profitable meeting for all. So this history towards the future begins now. Thank you. This is my introduction to this very, very important panel. And from here, I will only try to mediate the next presentation. So I give the floor to Stephanie Allard, the delegate of Quebec in Mexico. Thank you, Stephanie Allard Gomez, for being with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Ambassador Gomez Cabacho. Good morning, Ambassador Estivil Castro, dear Alejandro. Good morning, Secretario Pompa. Very nice to see you again. And dear friends and colleagues from both Mexico and Quebec. Bonjour à tous y à toutes. Muy buenos días a todos y a todas. It's really with great pleasure that I take part in this event this morning that will really explore, I think, a wide range of collaborations in research and entrepreneurship, and also business opportunities between the artificial intelligence ecosystems of Quebec and of Mexico. And Mexico is a priority partner for Quebec and a close friend of Quebec, of course, with whom we work very closely and share common values. And to illustrate that really important partnership, I'd just like to mention that the General Delegation of Quebec and Mexico celebrated its 40th anniversary last year, and today this is our third largest representation in a network of 33 offices that Quebec has in 18 countries around the world. So with regards to artificial intelligence, Quebec is recognized as one of the global leaders, I would say, with the world's largest concentration of academic researchers in deep learning, as well as a state-of-the-art R&D institution network such as the Quebec Institute of Artificial Intelligence, MILA, IVADO, and the Intelligence and Data Institute of Université Laval, all of whom will be participating in today's session. And thanks to this vibrant ecosystem, industry giants like Google, Microsoft, Facebook, and many others have established research offices in our province. Also, between 2017 and 2024, the Quebec government will have invested more than $829 million in AI, with recently announced an additional investment of $329 million over 5 years that was announced a couple of years ago. Similarly, in the summer of 2020, the Montreal International Expertise Center for the Advancement of AI officially launched its activities in the context of the creation of the Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence, the GPAI, to which Mexico is a founding member. The Quebec leadership in artificial intelligence is not limited to research and business. Our province has also pioneered instruments for its ethical use, such as the Montreal Declaration of 2018, the establishment of an international observatory on the impact of AI, OVIA, and more recently, the participation of Mila and the Algora Lab in a global consultation process, some of which will be carried out in collaboration with some Mexican partners. And Mexico, on its part, was one of the first countries in the world to introduce a national strategy on artificial intelligence in 2018. And also, according to a recent report from the consulting firm Endeavor, the number of Mexican AI startups almost tripled in the last 3 years, which is quite impressive. So to conclude, I'm really pleased also to announce that in a few days, the delegation will be launching a new call for proposals for the Quebec-Mexico working group in partnership with the Mexican Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And this will provide new opportunities to support some potential collaborative projects between Quebec and Mexican organizations in the field of artificial intelligence. So with this, I wish you all a very good seminar and fruitful discussions. Merci beaucoup. Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Gracias. Merci beaucoup. And now I would like to ask Alfonso Pompa Padilla, Secretary of Innovation, Technology and Science of the State of Jalisco, to take the floor. Thank you, Alfonso.
Thank you very much, Alejandro, and thanks everyone for hosting this important webinar. It gives us the opportunity to follow on some of the most important priorities for Jalisco, which was demonstrated for since 2018 that we visited Montreal twice at least during 18 and 19, because of the interest of artificial intelligence and Montreal becoming one of the most important hubs in the world related to artificial intelligence. So thank you very much, Ambassador, our dear Ambassador Juan Jose Gomez Camacho, Ambassador from Mexico to Canada. And he's also very interested in these topics, and he hosted a very important meeting also when we visited Montreal, and now with your support, the consulate is helping us to have this webinar. Thank you very much, Ambassador. And of course, I always thank Stephanie Allard, the Delegate General of Quebec in Mexico, not only for her support, but also for being so kind and always near to us. And hopefully with these new calls of proposals, we'll get something going on very soon. Thank you, Stephanie. And I am always impressed by the way she changes from Spanish to English and French. And even my English is now almost gone because of this 1 year in isolation. But thank you very much, Stephanie. And of course, Alejandro Stivil, which is always very active in this sense, the consulate in Quebec. And to the moderator also of this panel, Cristina Martinez. She is now from the PIT Policy Lab, a spin-off of C-Minds, an organization with whom we have worked in the past, and hopefully we will continue working on this direction also in artificial intelligence. We have had a tough year. I don't have to point out this very much, and I know it's the same for you. Hopefully you're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, as we expect it to happen in Mexico also. We know it's pretty much far from over, but we do have some good news in terms of the pandemic in Mexico, and nowadays we are kind of returning to a new normal. By the way, today is the first day that we return to classes in Jalisco, and maybe the first state in Mexico which is doing so. Universities are now being very active since a few months ago, but today they will start to have more presential activities such as regular courses and so on. I'm pretty sure we'll get an up-to-date state-of-the-art in artificial intelligence research projects from all the speakers and also from the participants involved in related projects. And in favor of giving enough time to the panel of experts following these opening remarks, I will keep my remarks very short. Artificial intelligence is getting a lot of traction as expected, and is getting more speed as many software developers and the design of technology devices and systems come up with new uses for artificial intelligence, especially on the regions that have become a pole or a hub for digital tech, such as Montreal or Quebec, and of course, Guadalajara in Mexico, among some other places in Mexico too. And that is the case in Guadalajara, the strong and diverse cluster of digital technology, software and electronics both, where international corporations, local developers, research centers, and universities and government agencies are developing new artificial intelligence applications. Some examples, we have a local Oracle campus, which is working on the specific projects to enhance their system performance and for the better support of their clients around the world. The campus, the Oracle campus in Guadalajara has roughly 1,400 engineers working on the design of specific algorithms, most of them in artificial intelligence, from anticipating and preventing costly user mistakes in financial applications to projecting which machines will break down if they don't get maintenance. So that's the regular uses of, we can say regular now, uses of artificial intelligence in some corporations like this to have their systems to design a more sophisticated and smart systems. But also we have some other companies such as Amdocs, another international corporation from Israel, developing algorithms very, very interesting to process big data and learn about the emotions of people watching movies, so they can provide their customers with better advice on their movie selection or finding a specific scenes. And you know, this is also a very rapidly growing industry, everything related to entertainment, specifically movies and contents creation. Some of the local developers, as Stephanie mentioned, the number of startups related to artificial intelligence in Mexico are really increasing very fast. And some of the local developers, such as Daylight and Relativity 6, are working on the known interest of finding which part of the screen gets the attention of the user, but now with the camera turned off, by detecting the hand behavior on the mouse as they are mousing around the screen. So that's a very interesting approach using artificial intelligence, because as we know, many of us turn off the cameras because we don't want to be watched. But they have learned how to understand the behavior of the hand touching the mouse to detect their emotions and their areas of interest. And another example is related once again to big data analysis to find shopping preferences and behavior, but more sophisticated even, finding interesting correlations with their last names and neighborhood. And you will hear today from the leader of artificial intelligence at the Monterrey Tech, Enrique Cortez, about the projects they are pursuing for health-related diagnosis and services, education, and some other social challenges. Also from Dr. Ulises Moya, the leader for Government Innovation Agency on technology for mobility and other smart city and smart government-related projects. These are just some of the examples that we have in Guadalajara, and a cluster that is thriving, booming with new ideas and a lot of interest in continuity relation with Quebec. The data science and artificial intelligence project that was launched a couple of years ago in Guadalajara has had a very slow development because the issues regarding the cancellation of FOMIX. FOMIX was the trust between our federal National Science and Technology Agency, CONACYT, and each state. And probably you heard about this problem in Mexico. But we are almost finished with this process and the recovering of the funds to support this hub. So hopefully by the second semester of this year, we will again get this artificial intelligence project going on with a very strong support of the government. Also, we have invested almost $1 million US, public and private funds, to foster advanced digital skills and talent, with a specific emphasis on the design of algorithms and data science. The training and teaching of this talent force is just beginning and will run for 1 year. And here we see a lot of opportunities and the need also and the convenience to work with Myla. Hopefully with the presence now of Catherine, we can get even closer to them and follow on some of the ideas that we presented when we visited Myla more than a year ago. And not only Myla, but also some of the companies that are hosted in Myla, and of course, Ivado. With Ivado, we're still working from the distance, and hopefully we'll get them also to train our people, especially in the topic of open data government, which is becoming very important in Mexico. Well, this is just to state how important it is for us in Jalisco, especially the topic of artificial intelligence, not the topic, but the very important strategy of artificial intelligence. Hopefully we'll get, again, the relation renewed with this webinar, and hopefully we'll get the opportunity to see you again very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Secretary. Thank you very much. We will also hope to see you soon here in Montreal. And now to close these opening remarks, and I thank a lot Ambassador José Gómez Camacho for his talk. So I should go for this and to stress the importance that we give to this subject. Gracias, Juan José.
Gracias, Alejandro. Good morning to you all. Very good to see you, Stephanie, and very good to see you also, this constant work between the consulate and the delegation in Mexico, which I really like and I find extremely productive, encouraging, and always inspiring. So thank you so much to you too. And so good to see you, Mr. Secretary Pompa Padilla. Not only you explained already very well the energy of Jalisco on technology and artificial intelligence, but I have to say that I have been over the years a witness of that. It's remarkable what Jalisco has been doing, and I should say not only on artificial intelligence, but in general, positioning itself as a true Mexican technological ecosystem. So congratulations for that, and of course I'm not surprised to see you today with us this morning. So thank you very much again. Just three quick comments, if I may, more than comments, probably reflections. One is how I see it, and you too, just listening to you all, the relevance of artificial intelligence and in general, the relevance of the so-called exponential technological change. And I think it's needless to, or there's no need to explain or to over-elaborate on the fact that artificial intelligence and in general the technological change will have enormous social, economic, political, and also geopolitical consequences. Hopefully all of them positive, but certainly very challenging for all of us. What is true, or what is clear in my view, nevertheless, is that the future will be determined, or will be defined by artificial intelligence, and future wealth creation, future socioeconomic development of countries is going to depend very much on where we are as countries on artificial intelligence development. It's truly remarkable, is critically important, and I have to add, is absolutely fascinating. So again, I'm very happy for this seminar that you all are organizing. Number two, Stephanie already said it, but let me say it as let me call myself foreign observer of Canada. What Quebec is doing on artificial intelligence and technology is also remarkable. I have had the pleasure to visit Mila together with my friend Alejandro. And I've been in many places around the world visiting all sort of efforts on technology, entrepreneurship, startups, and so on and so forth. I have to say that what I saw in Montreal is a true world-class ecosystem of artificial intelligence, or for artificial intelligence. This is very easy to say ecosystem. It has become some sort of commonplace to repeat it, a cliche, and many places or so-called ecosystems are truly not that. But I have to say that Montreal is where you see really this interaction working together, universities, private sector, and certainly government to actually create enormous value and innovation. So very happy again that that as a country we are working with Quebec to foster what you are doing, but also to collaborate and to get you more involved in Mexico. For us, is equally critical. We are still a bit behind you, but I think we are moving forward. Third is precisely this last point, which is that in Mexico, we couldn't agree more with the fact that artificial intelligence is probably in the heart of the future, that there is no way, or it wouldn't be possible to really aspire to jump to the next step as a country, socioeconomically speaking, if the country as a whole does not fully engage, does not fully embrace technological change, and certainly artificial intelligence, which is going to lead all technological change in general. And fourth, to conclude, the most interesting part to me of what you are organizing, or the additional value, if you will, of what you are organizing connected to what I just have said, is that artificial intelligence and the technological change is not just a conceptual process that is happening in the air, or a conceptual process that is only happening in schools or in universities, which is clearly there where it's starting. But in addition to that, there is a practical consequence, or the attempt to make it practical, to take what is being created in labs, in universities, by scientists, by engineers, into business, into actual production of new things, into actual monetization, and into actual wealth creation. So the fact that this seminar has this business component connecting both Mexicans and Canadians is absolutely on point. So again, thank you so much to you all for organizing. Muchas gracias, Alejandro. Gracias, Secretario. Gracias, Stephanie, and all of those that have worked together to make this happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador Juan José Gómez Camacho. So now we are going to pass to the more substantive part of all this seminar. I ask Cristina Martinez for PIT Policy Lab, who has helped us a lot during this process, to moderate the next part. Please, Cristina, you are there. Thank you.
Thank you. As Secretary Pampa just mentioned, I'm Cristina Martinez, the founder and director of the PIT Policy Lab, where we're working at the intersection of public interest technology and agile policymaking, as well as C-Minds policy consultant. But I first want to start by thanking the organizers of this event by inviting me as a moderator. I'm honored and humbled to be sharing this virtual stage with a stellar lineup, both from Quebec and from Mexico. And before actually getting started, I want to share with the audience some of the mechanics of the session. How is it going to work? Each panelist will have between 6 and 7 minutes to present about their work briefly and organization. as well as to comment on flagship AR research projects. And then we will start a conversation. So if there are questions from the audience, please post them online, and we will be happy to take some if possible, or to direct them to the person that you're addressing them, so we can also continue the conversation offline. And with that being said, we will kick off our panel with a brief presentation from Enrique Cortés, who leads Tec de Monterrey Pioneering Artificial Intelligence Hub in Mexico. So Enrique, if you could briefly introduce yourself and share with us some of the flagship research work you're doing in Tech, please.
Sure. Buenos días. Good morning. Bonjour. Something that I need to say is I went to Montreal probably a year and a half ago in person when we could travel. And not only I enjoyed a lot, but I learned a lot. And the reason was from the get-go, and this is true, we thought that the model for what we wanted to do was Quebec, Montreal. And one thing is to think that that's your model, and another thing is to go there and see that that is a good model for you. So we went there, we met people, we met some of you, and then we were convinced this is a good thing to have an ecosystem like the one in Montreal, in Quebec. That's one data point. The other data point is Tec de Monterrey does their strategy in 10-year increments, and there is a public document called Tech 2030. And that document basically identifies what are the big changes that Tec de Monterrey has to do in the next 10 years. And that document identifies AI as the heart of the strategy of the institution, Tec de Monterrey. And Tec de Monterrey decided to do 3 bets in the technology area. One is this one, AI. The other one is cybersecurity. And the third one is the use of data science in Industry 4.0 for 5.0. So this is a big bet for Tec de Monterrey. We have several research focus groups. One is called Intelligent Systems, one is called Machine Learning. All in all, we have 40 researchers devoted to different techniques of AI. And we collaborate with local institutions. For example, in Guadalajara, we are very good friends with Simba staff, CIATEC, etc. And the idea when we started this AI hub that I direct is, let's build an ecosystem. And I'm not telling you that we are at the level of Montreal, but we have made some progress. We have built something where we have industrial partners, we have academic partners, we are pushing to create a startup ecosystem that was very incipient a year ago. And then we form very strong bonds with other institutions like the government of Jalisco and IDB, International Development, Inter-American Development Bank. What I can tell you is that's a tough road. It's not easy, but so far, so good. Something that we decided to do is to focus because, limited resources. So what we said is, what do we want to do that is meaningful? And we decided to focus on a few things. One is the study of AI, ethical AI, in solving social problems. And the other one is, how do you link entrepreneurs to research, applied research? So that's our focus. And as part of our focus, we started a large project in which Jalisco is one of the partners, Inter-American Development Bank, Tec de Monterrey, and we cooperate with C-Minds, which is those things that I told you. One is how to use ethical AI to study, not only study, but to solve real-world problems, and how do we create an entrepreneurship ecosystem that works and is linked to the fundamental research, not fundamental, but to the applied research that we're doing. And that's what we're doing at the moment. We have been doing this for a year, I think with some success. Of course, it's tough to align government, an institution like Inter-American Development Bank, a university. To align and coordinate their efforts is not easy, but certainly is very powerful because the resources, the knowledge, and the points of view that this brings are invaluable. So, for example, we're working in education, and what we're trying to understand is why kids leave what we call secundaria, which is junior high school. What are the reasons? What are the factors? In environment, we are using machine learning for some environmental problems. In health, probably Ulises is going to explain more what we're doing. And lately, we are studying the possibility of using AI in gender type problems like inequality or violence. Some characteristic of our ecosystem is that from the get-go, we decided to do it interdisciplinary. So we are involving people from the School of Medicine, from the School of Business, from Humanities, and from the School of Government from the get-go. As some of my university colleagues will tell you, that is not easy to work among departments. But so far, so good. We're making progress. Something that we're trying to do is we all that work in AI know that making a model is tough. Training that model is tough. Testing the model is tough. Evaluating the model is tough. But when things become really strange is when you put your model in the real world. So we're focusing on how do you take these theoretical models, you deploy them in the real world, in the clinics, in the schools. What do you need to change in the environment of that school, in that clinic? And even more important, can we measure the real effect of putting artificial intelligence in the real world? And we're in the process of doing that. It's not easy. And we have a commitment that we did when we started all this adventure, which is we are willing to share our success, of course, which everybody does, but we are also willing to document our failure when we have failure. I think this is very important because usually you don't see failure documented, but this is not a riskless path we are taking. I'm sure we're going to fail sometimes. And when we fail, we want the world to know why we failed so that other people don't follow that path.
30 more seconds, please.
Yes. As far as cooperation with Quebec and Montreal, I would tell you that a key guy here is a Mexican person working in the University of Montreal, Manuel Morales. He has been a catalyst of this cooperation. And in our case, we are talking a lot to Marc-Antoine Dilac from Algora Lab. He's guiding us on the ethical side of things, and we are seeking more cooperation. But somehow, Canada and Mexico, we understand each other and we get along fine. So what I can tell you is so far, so good. We're moving along, and we're also moving along in the creation of this ecosystem of startups, which still needs a lot of development. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Enrique. We'll elaborate a little bit more on ideas when we start the dialogue, but thank you. We'll continue with Victor Rivero. He's the General Director of CONACYT from CONACYT Center of Mathematics Research, and is also leading CONACYT Artificial Intelligence Alliance. If you could share a little bit with us about this important alliance, Victor.
Thank you very much, Christina. Thank you for the introduction. And good morning to everyone. Thank you very much for this invitation. I'm very happy to be here. This is not the first time I'm invited to a collaborative event with Quebec, and I thank for all those invitations because I'm very happy of all the results we have got from those invitations and collaborations. I have a presentation I want to share. Sergio, yeah, thank you very much. Okay, so I want to present this consortium alliance we have been pushing from some of the research centers from CONACYT. This is a collaborative scheme where from academia, we are trying to push AI with the funding of CONACYT, the National Council of Science and Technology in Mexico. And okay, so We are working together 8 research centers from CONACYT. Okay, so CMAT, the Center of Research in Mathematics, is one of them. We are specialized in mathematical sciences with a strong group working in computer science. But there are many other centers. I don't want to describe all the centers, but it is important to say that this makes a very important human infrastructure that is having a large coverage of around Mexico, and trying to build a strong network working in artificial intelligence. Okay. So something also very important, it is that it has a multidisciplinary view that is really needed in this topic. Okay, so our mission is to implement the strategies for the transfer of technology and knowledge in AI through basic and applied research. That is one of our specialties. Training human capital and developing complex AI projects with academia, social, and industrial scope. Looking to promote AI in public and private sectors through the integration of resources, capabilities, and expertise of all members of the Alliance. We should say that these centers have, for instance, strong capabilities in supercomputing. So we can work together to apply those computer capabilities to try to solve a problem jointly or to handle jointly a big database. Our vision is to be a national reference in research, specialized academic training, and the development of complex projects in artificial intelligence, problematics for the public and private sector. So we started 2 years ago working in this collaborative scheme, okay? And we have been pushing this strategy, and this is the 3rd year of the collaboration, and we hope we will consolidate this strategy so that it becomes somehow self-sustainable. But of course, we have to collaborate a lot with many instances and countries, in particular with Canada. So nowadays, we have around 250 people from the centers collaborating in these actions. And we have also brought together people from other areas in academia. Okay, so making that from Mexico, we have more than 400 people working in the activities related to this strategy. So as I was saying, with all this collaboration, we have a strong human infrastructure, either from researchers that are specialized in AI and the mathematical theory related to AI, also mathematical engineers that are trained and with long experience in transforming mathematical models and AI algorithms in solutions for the social and economical sectors. And also something very important, the group of students we have, which is a large group of students from all the centers participating in these projects, getting specialized training and building a critical mass of specialized people in AI, data sciences, and mathematical modeling. So these are some of the lines we have been working with or developing: image processing, robotics, computational vision, development and analysis of complex numerical algorithms, and so on, as for instance, machine learning, data mining, and associative classifiers, optical metrology, big data, Internet of Things, and many others. Also, we have been trying to collaborate with a lot of people in Mexico and getting to know all the environment in Mexico and trying to bring other views from around the world. In particular, we have, as I was saying at the beginning, we have been collaborating with Quebec, in particular with Ivado, thanks to the help, for instance, of Manuel Morales, but many other people also. And in particular, we have a series of roundtables that we call Construyamos mediante el diálogo la inteligencia artificial en Mexico. So let's build via the dialogue the AI in Mexico. And we have more than 30 institutions telling the view and pushing some collaborative options. I don't want to mention all the institutions, but it has been very representative of the ecosystems in AI. We have been also having other academic examples, so to get to be at the frontier of the research in the topic. In particular, for instance, we have this event on artificial intelligence and data science that was organized together with Ivado. So, and the purpose of that event was to invite public and private sector to propose a problem and propose that problem to academics and students, and that the students try to propose a solution to that problem. Of course, it will not be solved within a week, but it will help to build groups and to continue working together, either inside academia or together with the sector that propose the problem.
Un minuto, Victor.
Okay, gracias, Cristina. So, and there are many other events that have been carried out, having a strong presence from people from the Alliance. These are other academic events, more focus for students, okay, so that we can build human resources around the AI. It is clear for all of us, I think, that one of the most important challenges we have in AI is to have enough strong people to tackle the problems that are proposed or that are appearing in this area. Some of the social impact projects we have been developing via the Alliance are related to COVID, for instance. So we have an example of rapid diagnosis of COVID via chest X-ray imaging. This is jointly developed by CIMAT and INAOE, another of the centers that is working together with us. For instance, molecular detections of SARS-CoV-2 using RNA signatures and AI. This is jointly developed by EPCIT and CIMAT, and many other projects that have been found by this alliance and developed jointly by research centers in this alliance and other centers or other academic institutions. We must say we are not bringing all the people from the ecosystem in Mexico, but we are trying to build a stronger network with them. We have been working with other actors, as for instance, working together in the definition of the agenda in AI, together with Christina and their group, and many other people. And that's it for the moment. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Victor, and congratulations for the important, for the very relevant progress made within the AI consortium at the national level, and for all the ecosystem development that we've been able to participate within. And back to a local level, and to continue learning from how Jalisco is pioneering the AI space nationally, we will hear from Ulises Moya from the government of Jalisco. He is its Artificial Intelligence Director. Ulises?
Hi everyone. First, I want to say thank you to the organizer, to the Consul team, to the ambassador and Secretary Pompa to invite us. Yes, we have some slides. I don't know, Sergio, if you... thank you. Yes, so we are working in the Jalisco government in some artificial intelligence applications. This is the short outline of the presentation. Let me put this. And Jalisco, we believe that is the first state in Mexico to develop its own agenda. Why is happening that? Because we have a strong ecosystem here in Jalisco. We want to say not as good as Canada ecosystem, as Quebec ecosystem, but we have some, we say that we have the Silicon Valley of Mexico, yes? So we have some collaboration. We have to focus in the OBIA collaboration in ethics, now, and perhaps the Montreal University collaboration. We focus on that in this presentation. We have a lot of organization, companies, big companies, and short universities. And this slide was from 2019 because we start to the status of the ecosystem in that year. Yeah. So let me continue. How this happened? Because we are working in the Coordinación General de Innovación with Mario Arauz, which our boss, and we working with all the other ministers, secretarias, in order to bring some technologies to help us with some technologies or for instance, in artificial intelligence application. Yes. So let me print this. And this is perhaps the Unive, which is our link with, for instance, with all the Quebec organization, these kind of things. My boss, Raúl Anclares, Jorge Martinez, which is another physicist, particle physicist, which is our main data scientist, and all the team who work together, of course, Abraham Sanchez, who worked with me, in order to make some artificial intelligence models. Not only we make plans, we have a very strong technical team. Yes. So we are working mostly with some part of the artificial intelligence called deep learning. Is well known this, but we want to to clear this point because we usually don't use the other kind of artificial intelligence. We mostly use deep learning. Yes. And we are working most in these 4 topics: mobility, data security, environment, and some health and education applications. Yes. The most important project now in the artificial intelligence is FER Jalisco. In FER Jalisco, we are working with the Inter-American Development Bank, CIMAINS, Tec de Monterrey, of course, us. And we are working to make some applications related with artificial intelligence in the government services. Yes, but we want to use, we want to make these applications with a strong ethic support. Yes, so let's move to this. This is one application of that. Is the diabetic retinopathy. Is a big issue in general in Mexico. And the main problem that we need to do around 500,000 exams, and we only have now around 50 specialists of retina in Jalisco. So we need to do something in order to make more tests. Yes. So we start around 1.5 years ago in order to convert this clinical diagram in order to create some models to help to the physician, to the specialist, in order to do their job easily. Yes. So we don't present the results now. We don't finish this investigation, but we have these all these publications with the models, with some ethical problems that we find so far, and we have some technical papers and some other more related with the social part and these kind of things. Yeah. Okay. If you want to see, this is another application, land use, land cover. This is a very important application. We want to know how change every year the land use and the land cover. What is that? Is the land use is what the human build. For instance, they build some city of yes, and land cover is related with the environment, with the ecosystem. Yeah. So we want to know if, for instance, some forest area is changed to, I don't know, avocado, and why? No. This is could be automatically with the models. This is okay. This was a video, but I think this is a PDF. But this was a PDF. Yeah, of how change this in the application. And this is how we detect the Guadalajara city area automatically with deep learning models. This is another application that we have. We need to know how was the car flow here, and we measure this using some cameras of the Jalisco government. Finally, we have this not full. We have a certain collaboration. The first use case called diabetic retinopathy was selected by GPI organization. You know, we are working with Wanda Munoz and the Professor Christian Lemaitre in order to work in the ethical part of the diabetic retinopathy. No? Yes. And this case was selected, this one, from 200 cases, was the 25, I think, selected by following by the GPay that we think that. And finally, we want to point a possible collaborations or make contact for that is Junibe Moreno. And what we need, perhaps we want to go to Quebec and learn a lot. We know that is huge, the potential to learn from this community. Actually, we went the last year to the CFAR summer school, me and Abraham Sanchez, and could be great to continue learning from the expert in that side. And what we could help or what we offer, perhaps the most important thing is we can share some data sets from Mexico, of course, all in the on the data open data framework, perhaps, and help with some other things. Yes. That's all from my side. This is my email, and merci beaucoup. Thank you very much for help.
Thank you very much, Ulises. Jalisco is indeed the only local government that has an artificial intelligence office and its own agenda. And I think it's great that you're already exploring some potential opportunities of collaboration and offerings from Mexico. I will soon be following with very specific questions with you. But moving forward with the Quebec side of the ecosystem, I am pleased to present Catherine Rousseau, who is the Director of Strategic Alliances, Strategy and Corporate Affairs at the Montreal Institute of Learning Algorithms, or MILA. So Catherine, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Cristina. And es un placer estar aquí con ustedes para hablar de MILA y para contarle del impacto que tenemos. Sergio, I think I had a presentation, so perfect. Let me just see how I can switch. Great. It's always good to get a little chance to practice my Spanish. Let me tell you first about MILA. I think some of you, and I'm glad to see that many of you have already had a chance to come and visit MILA physically, but maybe some of you haven't. So let me speak a little bit about MILA. As mentioned, MILA is the world's largest academic research lab in machine learning and deep learning in the world. As mentioned, machine learning and deep learning are two high-impact subsets of AI. I'm happy to see that the state of Jalisco is also focusing on deep learning, which is the specialty of our professor. It was founded by Dr. Yoshua Benjo, which is one of the world leading experts in AI and very pioneer in deep learning. He won the Turing Award, which is a prize equivalent to the Nobel Prize, but in computer science. And he's the current scientific director of MILA. So Dr. Benjo founded MILA actually in 1993, so a few years ago, but it was an academic lab in the University of Montreal. About 4 years ago, a few stakeholders, mainly the government of Quebec, but also the government of Canada and the two biggest universities in Montreal, so University of Montreal and McGill, decided to invest in a new version of this academic lab and created the MILA that we know today, which is a non-for-profit organization that put together different players to propel the development of AI. And so the lab is located in Montreal. The workplace was designed really to provide kind of this innovative environment to facilitate collaboration between professors, students, applied AI experts, and different businesses. So this is a bit the bet that we did. We say if we put all those people together in a same space, maybe something great can be created. So as some of you mentioned, we have wonderful offices. While of course they've been closed for the last year, our community is very active online, which is we're happy to see, and that we hope that we're going to keep that after the pandemic as well. So then we can have connection and better collaboration also with people that are not located in Montreal. So what does it mean to be the world's largest academic research lab? A few numbers. We have more than 70 world-class professors that have decided to join and be affiliated with MILA. We have now over 460 researchers. So these are students in master, PhD, and postdoctorate studies in AI. We have also close to 200 students in our kind of new applied AI program. So these are people that are been working in the workplace and want to get a kind of upskilling in AI. So they come and study for 2 years, and after they go back to work in businesses. We have also now more than 80 partners and sponsors. I'll speak a bit more about that later. And we have now a team of about 70 dedicated staff, which includes experts in applied AI and also in hardware and technology to support not only the professor, but also the businesses that are working with us. And so all of these people decided to rally around one key mission, which is to be a global pool for scientific advance that inspires innovation and the progress of AI for the benefit of all. And that last part of the sentence is very important and close to our core value at MILA, which is really for the benefit of all. And so we have kind of 4 strategic pillars where we focus all our energy. First, on talent. So we focus on attracting, training, and hopefully retaining in Quebec and Canada, but we also like to see that people also go elsewhere in the world, a diversified pool of talent in AI. Because we realize in the market as well that talent is one of the biggest problems. We see that businesses are trying to recruit and get some talent to help adopt AI. And so we think that this is one of the very key aspects where we can have a huge impact. Second, scientific research. Well, we support our researchers so that they can make really breakthrough in AI. Third, collaborative projects. We make projects to accelerate the adoption of AI by businesses and organizations. And then the last one is our focus on the ethical and responsible development of AI, which is, again, very close to the core values that are shared with all the players of our ecosystem here in Montreal. So I wanted to focus here a little bit because I think the idea of this meeting today is to share information, but also hopefully create collaboration in the future. And so I wanted to identify that we usually at MILA collaborate with external players in kind of 3 main ways. First, we've put together a partnership program that we call for organization businesses that want to be part of our vibrant ecosystem, but also want to contribute to the mission of MILA. Second, research collaboration. We try to establish research collaboration between researchers of MILA and around the world that are either in academic lab, that are industrial researchers, and others. And third, we also contribute with external players for AI for good projects. So we see that the projects that have the most impact include different players together working into solving a solution for the good or the benefit of all. So let me give you a few examples of what these collaborations actually lead to. First, if I talk about the partnership program, as mentioned, we have over 60 industrial partners from startups to global companies, either in tech or in healthcare. We have a few pharmaceutical companies that have joined our partnership program. And by becoming partners of Mila, they access to recruiting opportunities, training offerings, and just also be part of our ecosystem by attending events and contributing to our mission. And we realize that by having those organizations close to us, they get kind of the tools to help them further develop or adopt AI in their own businesses. Some of our partners also run corporate lab space within Mila. So they have, sometimes an office with 6 or 7 seats, and that allow them to send some of their AI scientists to be working at Mila, and that really creates those connections that can lead to a great collaboration. We have also some of our collaborating institutions.
One more minute.
Okay. So we collaborate with different institutions. There are more that can fit on that one slide, but often we see that our researcher collaborate with other researcher, and we always try to make those connections to see how together we can solve the problem of AI and make sure that there is a high rate of AI adoption also in the community. We'd love to see more logos also of organization in Mexico on that slide. And maybe just a few last words on the types of research collaboration that we foster. So the first one, some industrial or academic work on fundamental research project with our researcher. So last year, about 1/3 of the published paper that were co-authored by industry researchers. So this is show us that there's really a collaboration happening there. And the second box that you see on the right are applied research projects that are done with our applied research experts or team. They work a bit like consultant. They help businesses solve their AI problem. So I've put 2 examples here with a telemedicine startup here in Montreal, or with Hydro-Quebec to optimize the electrical management of the grid. And I'm just changing slide. Ethical and social initiative, I've listed a few years, but as I mentioned, it's really core to Mila's mission. And so we're involved on different types of initiative that I think were already mentioned. We also work very specifically on some project, for example, to eliminate gender and racial bias in written text, or to visualize climate change. And just to finish, I wanted to end my presentation with a few key numbers to show you that the impact that we had in the 3 last years. So as I mentioned, a high number of researchers, 573. We started at 230 3 years ago. We have 48 research chair. We started with 12 only 3 years ago. The partner increased about 3 times since we started. So we started with 19 partners, and then we're more than 60. 1,889 articles were published, which is a high number. About 1/3 of them were co-authored with industrial researcher, and they were cited more than 20,000 times. We have fostered close to 200 internship in industry. That's also another aspect that we focus on, bringing our talent in the industry first for an internship. More than 100 applied projects. And well, we've been mentioned quite a few in the media, but what this has done is that it attracted a lot of people and organizations around the world wanted to collaborate with us, and we're very happy about that. So this was my presentation. I look forward to answer any questions.
Thank you, Catherine. It is very inspiring to learn from the pilots guiding Mila's work, from the impact you're having by the numbers. And thank you for sharing also some of the specific opportunities of collaborations that you're offering to the ecosystem. And to finalize the introductory presentation portion of the session, we have Christian Gagné, the director of the Institute of Intelligence and Data from the University at Laval. Hi, Christian.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great, thank you. So yes, so I will make you a quick presentation on the IID, which is the institute I am directing. So basically, okay. So basically, I'm a professor at Université Laval in Quebec City and researcher in machine learning. I am part, in fact, of Mila. I am associate member to Mila, and I am also Canada Sci-Fi AI chair. So I'm basically a researcher, but now I have my hat of director of the IID, which is based in Quebec City. So maybe some of you know Quebec City. It's 250 kilometers east of Montreal, and I just want to to stress this out, that we are not in Montreal, but we are collaborating closely to Montreal. But the city is slightly is smaller. It's very good, a very strong economy, and that kind of built up our approach, because we have, I would say, in Quebec City, strong research centers in different topics, which are all, I would say, organized around the IID in terms of AI and data science. So yes, the new institute that I'm directing has been launched in January 2020, but it is based on like 4 main research centers: one on robotics vision, machine intelligence, another one on big data, another one on geomatics, geographical data, and the last one more in logistics and operational research. And we have, I would say, a really interesting ecosystem around it of different centers that are developing or using AI in their applications. And we also have, for the size of Quebec City, a good ecosystem in terms of companies, with many small companies and some big ones like Coveo, which is one really a company that is growing at 25% every year, and some other ones. And so in Université Laval in Quebec City, we built the idea around 3 axes that are kind of natural, that was there. And one thing that is characterizing our research here is the fact that we are building AI systems often around data coming from the physical world, so coming from cameras, from sensors, from the industrial floor of in terms of manufacturing, autonomous vehicles, and so on. So we tend to have a strength into dealing with data from the real world. And we also have a core of 10 researchers, which are machine learning, data science specialists, which are developing methods. And we also have a good, you see this with the other presentations, but we are also into developing systems that are socially acceptable, having approaches that are ethically justified. So the IID is organized with 4 main axes that will kind of give you a sneak view of what we are doing. We have the first axis, which is more about physical environments, the fact that we are dealing with data that is coming from the real world, from environments, so like GPS data, camera data, and so on. So data from in terms of sensors that are working with in the real world. We also have a strong health and life science set of researchers, which are dealing with the data like coming from, I would say, genomic data, or super resolution microscopy at the nanoscale to see molecular interactions in the brain, for example, up to medical imagery, and then also up to public health in terms of managing the processes at the population level. So we have all these activities, and I will also show you something more on the kind of things that we are looking for. We also have an axis, which is basically the people working in machine learning and data science. And in fact, in this axis, we have also the 4 Sci4 AI chairs, which I'm one of these 4. So like the 4 researchers that are associated with Milan that are, I would say, world-class researcher in machine learning. And the last aspect is more the ethical, confidentiality, and social acceptability aspects, which is important for us, and which we try to develop research projects where we could support these aspects and have some researchers more in law, in ethics, in social science that can support us in this. So the IID is basically 35 researchers, not 32. So 35 researchers in different fields. Both people are doing machine learning and people who are using it in their different specialties. And we also have a developing collaboration with companies, organizations in the Quebec City area, but also elsewhere. So we have developed a professional masters like we have in Mila, but this one is based in Université Laval, and IID is in charge of the internships. So this is really good to support the development, the training of people in machine learning, but also get them involved in different companies and allow the knowledge about this field to be transmitted quickly all around in the environment outside the campus. We are also having programs to support transitions and the use of AI in companies. And we are also animating a 5G hub, which is kind of on the side, which is there's a program between Quebec and Ontario to develop 5G technologies in terms of wireless communication, and we are supporting the Quebec City Hub in terms of academic activities. On the campus also, which is independent from the IED, which is another thing, and I saw that some people mentioned it before. We also have what we call the OVIA, the International Observatory on the Socially Responsible Development of AI and Digital Technologies. So it was established about 3 years ago. It is really it aims at helping the communities, organizations, individuals to maximize the positive outcome of AI and digital technologies. And in fact, the Access 4 that I mentioned before of the IID is in line with the OBVIA, and we are working closely with them, and some members of OBVIA also are some members of the IID. And it is based in Université Laval, even though it is a consortium that is getting most of big universities in Quebec and many other collaborators, nationally and internationally. And also another aspect on what we have at Université Laval is that we are building really all the pipeline for supporting data collection and valorization. So we have now really a world-class data center that has really 24/7 availability, with high level of really availability. And it is a really good infrastructure, physical infrastructure, over which we have, I would say, a support team in terms of valorizing data, which is called Valeria, and over which we have specific projects like one on sustainable health. And the point is to say we want to be able to gather data following the regulation and be able to collect different sources of data and valorize it through data science and artificial intelligence, and kind of improve or having several research projects that could make develop new approaches for health, like in personalized medicine and so on. So this aspect is really good.
30 more seconds.
30 more seconds, yes. One quick thing, one nice project that is developing. This is not just with IID, this is also with Ivado and the aerospace industry in Montreal in collaboration with France. This is called DEAL. And what we aim with this is to develop machine learning in the context of aerospace. And the point is that, so we have all these collaborators in Quebec, Montreal, and in France, in Toulouse. And it is really, the point is to develop robust machine learning systems that can go into airplanes. So it has to be reliable, it has to be robust, it has to be interpretable, to develop systems that we understand what's going on. We don't want black boxes on planes. We want something that we can really rely on. We can certify it at low privacy by design. So this is one of the nice projects that we have here in Laval. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Christian, for sharing how the Institute of Intelligence and Data is working, and the focus on data and data valorization that you have, as well as incorporation of the ethical dimensions to the project. I think it's very impressive, the type of research projects and multi-sectoral collaborations that are happening both in Mexico at the national and local level, as well as in Quebec. But to actually be able to jump right into the conversation, I want to start by asking you, Christian and Catherine, what do you think have been the main reasons why the Quebec AI ecosystem has grown so much within the past years and become a global pole of AI innovation? What have been the main lessons learned? And please, Christian or Catherine, please feel free.
I can jump in with maybe one answer. I think there are many key ingredients to the success that we had. I think one of them is talent. We were able to attract talent, so professors and researchers that are deciding to build a career in an academic lab and organization around this. And we're able to compete with some of the greatest, tech players that are trying to hire all of this talent. And one of the reasons why we were able to compete is with the high support of government support, the support from the government of Quebec, but also the government of Canada, which they were able to put some funds so we could attract all of those talents and keep them working here at the center. And then this works as as attracting more players around it. So I think there is the money that is invested to be able to compete, but also the strong value that we put together. We often ask professors and students, and then also businesses, why are you choosing Mila or Quebec? And it's because we share those values of wanting to develop AI in an ethical and responsible way, and also for the benefit of all. So we have a open research framework that we foster, and I've seen that from other key speakers today. And I think that's attracted also a lot of those talents that share those values and want to contribute in AI in this way. So I'll stop here, but that's one of the main ingredients.
Thank you. Krista, do you want to compliment a little bit?
I agree totally. I think the fact that we were able to kind of stop the hemorrhage, because I see that in many other places, there is a set of really strong researchers, but the ecosystem was kind of broken because the companies was pumping this talent in there and getting them to move on the West Coast, US West Coast, and so on, and other places. And I think that that's the right thing, that the government was able to support this. And we saw there's also kind of I would say, feeling that many professors think that they can do something, they can have an impact here. So having an impact here is important. And how can we support professors to have an impact here? I think that was the right approach from the government. And I think that it was done at the right time. The timing was really great, because what went on after that, it was really a good thing. And also we were, I would say, lucky also to get in Canada in general two really great researcher with Yoshua Benjo in Montreal and Jeff Hinton in Toronto. And I think that this was here, and this was, I would say, 10 years ago, it was a kind of field like any others in terms of research. But the kind of explosion we saw in the last 10 years was surprising, and I would say dangerous up to some point, to destabilize the ecosystem. And I think that it was catch well in terms of kind of focusing and in fact supporting and getting more people to get involved into that. And I think that now we are in really, really good setting.
Thank you, Christian. And conversely, Enrique, Victor, Ulises, what valuable lessons do you think have emerged in Mexico around ecosystem building and academia, government, private sector collaboration? Anyone of you who wants to jump in? I see Enrique raise his hand. Yes, Enrique?
I'll jump in. I think progress has been made, but I think Christian put it very well. What we need more is more talent, and we need talent at all levels, at the engineering level, but also at the science level. So I think we need to train more PhDs, and that's a long-term road, and that's okay, because we don't believe this is a fad. This is a legitimate, very important field. So simply we need to train more PhDs and attract more researchers. That's one. I think the other challenge, one would think that a challenge is limitations on funding or things like that. I think we have a huge challenge on the data available to us, because no data, no AI. And really the amount and quality of open data right now, or data available to us, is very limited, is incomplete, is not complete in time or in scope. And that's causing trouble for us to do real application of AI in the real world. On the other hand, I would say we have great opportunities, because, we always talk about the top tier of AI, no? The Canadas, the US, the Chinas. But below that tier, you have Mexico. So Mexico could be a leader of that second tier. And the advantage we have is we can study problems that the top tier really doesn't care about, because they happen in our particular environment and they affect billions of people. So we could be leading on the study of those problems. And if something works in Mexico, it will work in South America and in Africa and in certain regions in Asia. So we can jump to a position of leadership in that sense. So, some challenges and great opportunities.
Thank you, Enrique. Victor, Ulises, do you want to complement his answer?
Yes, thank you, Christian. Yeah, I will add that, of course, we have seen some of the examples of collaboration that have resulted recently in Mexico, and that is very beneficial. But we should also recognize that there are more efforts that are needed. Of course, Mexico has several priorities, several problems to solve. And I think there are many opportunities for AI. And I think we need to build some confidence in all the sectors. that AI can help to solve those some of those problems, as for instance, health problems, or the use of some regions in agriculture, for instance, and many other areas. So, and I think in that way, we can attract more funding, as we already saw in the Mila example. We need to attract more talent, particularly from academia, that has freedom to work in many areas and to solve specific problems to those private sectors. In that way, there is an investment in private sector and in academia. And I think that is one of the problems in Mexico. There's still little funding coming from the private sector, and we need to build that confidence in the academia from the private sector to develop this area in Mexico. And yeah, I mean, prove we can help a lot in all the areas. That's it.
Thank you, Victor. Ulises?
Yes, thank you. Yes, my colleagues mentioned talent, funding, data, and I want to add computational power. We need a lot of computational power to do this kind of artificial intelligence. In Mexico, we don't have a lot of this special computer to make this. And this is not so good for the students, for the academics, and for whole the environment. It's really expensive to pay in the cloud this kind of special architecture, we say GPU, this kind of computers. And on the other side, we in Mexico, the ecosystem perhaps needs help. This is why this event is so important for us, because we can start to build this confidence. As Victor says, this is very important, with a partner with more experience, and we can working together for perhaps start with a small project and then learn some experiences from both sides. We believe that we have, as Enrique says, a special problem that is only in Mexico that occurs. There is no other way to get the data of that kind of problems, and could be great work together. This is 2 points that I want to add. Thank you.
Thank you, Ulises. And I know we're almost running out of time, but I think there's a question that I have to do, given the framing of this conversation, which is how can we strengthen and further promote AI cooperation between Mexico and Quebec? And with that question, anyone that wants to answer it, I'll leave to Consul Estíbal to share the closing remarks. And also, I know that there are a lot of very interesting questions, which we have copied, which we will make sure to see how we can answer it together with the presentation that will be recorded and sent the link. So if anyone wants to answer this question, how to promote more cooperation between Mexico and Quebec? Enrique?
Yes, I know that we're still in a pandemic, but I think people exchange is crucial, and I'm talking about faculty, students, researchers, because it's okay to work in this virtual environment, but I think something like Mila, which is a world treasure, you need to be there and interact there with others in person and have coffee or have a beer or something. So at some point, I think we need to return to people exchange and visits. I mean, I would invite any one of you from Quebec province, come to Mexico, see what we do. So I think that's crucial. I mean, and events like this, of course, we need to keep this momentum going. But I think people-to-people interaction is very important.
Thank you, Enrique, for the invitation. We'll follow up on that.
All right.
Great. Anyone wants to compliment? Otherwise, I'll move forward to passing on the microphone to Consul Stevie.
I will just add to what Enrique said, is that in that collaboration or in that exchange, we need to find a joint problem, a problem where we have something that where we focus and we focus all our efforts. It's either an academic event, it's either joint research or a training of students, or tackling a bigger problem. That is also something very important, that we can add up all our strengths to try to solve a joint problem or a global problem. And I think there are many opportunities in there that we should try to push and find the funding in these calls that are being opened. Thank you.
Definitely, Victor. Thank you very much for those insights. So as I said, there were many questions from Leonardo Lozano, Juan Francisco Muñoz, from Jose Luis Morales, Edwin Herrera, Leobardo Morales. Thank you for posting them. We copied them and we will be responding them offline. But with that being said, please, Consul Stevie, if you can make the honors of the closing remarks.
Thank you, Cristina. It has been a lovely morning hearing very important things, and I take the opportunity to remark what Enrique and Victor said at the end. How we can promote more is to preserve the impetus, the energy that we can in this relationship, and that's what we are doing. The consulate here of Mexico, and of course the delegation of Quebec in Mexico, think that these are opportunities for us. So not only exchanges, also projects. I'm pretty sure that if we receive any kind of idea, project, we can present it to the other, and I would like to make this as a hub for everybody to be in touch, to present ideas, to present possibilities, and the consulate and the delegation are here to help you. I only will thank you again. Thank you for the level, for the importance, for the lovely energy that you put in all this moment. And of course, the 26 and 27, we're going to focus more in projects that are in one way or the other related to economic growth, to possibilities of business that can be part of all this, because as Quebec has taught us, it has to be a three pillars: the governmental, we are here to push for it; the academic, which is basic and maybe the most important at this moment; and of course also the private sector has to be involved. So we want all these players to be there. I thank you, the delegation of Quebec here again, and all the governmental agencies of Quebec that has helped us on this. We are working very, very close, and we think that this is the future here in artificial intelligence for the relationship between Mexico and Quebec. Thank you for all the stakeholders for being here. Thank you for your words. Thank you for spending this time with us. And we have all the emails for a future, and we're going to use it. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Sergio. Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Cristina. Thank you, Sergio.
Bye-bye.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup.